In 2013 alone, J.P. Morgan spent nearly $17 billion to settle claims with the federal government, claims relating to its sale of fraudulent mortgage-backed securities, its illegal foreclosure practices like robo-signing, its manipulation of energy markets in California and the Midwest, and its handling of the disastrous London whale trade. And at the end of the year, J.P. Morgan gave its CEO, Jamie Dimon, a 75% raise, bringing his total compensation to $20 million. Now, you might think that presiding over activities that resulted in $17 billion in payouts for illegal conduct would hurt your case for a fat pay bump. But according to the New York Times, members of the J.P. Morgan Board of Directors thought that Jamie Dimon earned the raise, in part, and I'm quoting here, by acting as chief negotiator as J.P. Morgan worked out a string of banner government settlements. I think this raises questions about whether our enforcement strategy is working, or whether it's actually so bad that we're making it more likely for big banks to break the law. Neil Weinberg, the editor-in-chief of the American Banker magazine, said that in the current environment, quote, bank executives would be crazy to hold back. If they get caught, they can pay their way out of the problem with shareholders' money. And if their misdeeds pay off as expected, the profits will goose their pay. I'll add, even if they do get caught, the executives might still get a raise. So here's my question. Does anyone on this panel seriously think that the government's current enforcement system for financial crimes is actually working in the sense of deterring future law breaking? Anyone?
Well, I think we're going to have to wait and see, Senator, as to whether the magnitude of those fines will in fact have a deterrent effect going forward. As you noted, any dollar paid in compensation to any employee comes out of the capital available for distribution to shareholders.
I'm not quite sure I'm following the last point, though, Governor Tarullo. Jamie Dimon got a raise after he negotiated $17 billion to pay off for activities that were illegal that he presided over. So I'm not quite sure how this is a deterrent for other CEOs.
Again, I'm not going to comment on the specifics of that case, other than to make the point that I don't know whether it's going to be a deterrent. I can say from our point of view, we are concerned with the healthy capitalization of the firm, and the question in making sure that no payment of executive compensation or distribution to shareholders threatens that. The issue of between the shareholders and the executive, as long as it does not run afoul of those sort of safety and soundness considerations, that's not something that we get directly involved in. I don't know if you're asking whether you think the fines need to be even larger.
So, no, the question I'm asking is whether or not there's adequate deterrence to prevent the largest financial institutions in this country from breaking the law. And I'm just reading what evidence we have to go on right now. Anyone?
Senator, I'll make one observation in the context of the LIBOR settlements that the CFTC has engaged in. It's been brought to the attention of the agency that a lot of modifications of behavior have resulted as in the wake of those settlements and in the wake of those enforcement actions, which collected more than $1 billion for the taxpayer. I'm not suggesting that there might not be other ways to enhance our enforcement program or the enforcement program of other regulatory agencies, but there does seem to be some modification of behavior that's very, very positive for the markets.
Well, I'm glad to see there's some modification of behavior, but we have to worry about this. I want to say I thought that SEC Chairwoman Mary Jo White took the right step when she changed the SEC's no admit, no deny rule so that there was at least less room for financial institutions. But, I guess we can stop this now, but I think the public has little confidence in regulators' willingness to seek the kind of penalties that will actually deter future financial crimes. And I don't blame them. I know that many of your agencies have been starved for the financial resources that you need to be aggressive in your enforcement actions. I know it's tough to go up against a big financial institution that seems to have unlimited resources, but Jamie Dimon himself said on CNBC a couple of weeks ago that J.P. Morgan could never afford a public trial. He said, I'm quoting here, banks have a very tough time doing that. That would have been criminal for me to subject our company to. If Jamie Dimon sees that he could not go to trial, and it's totally up to him, this should enhance your leverage. It tells me that if regulators are even slightly willing to take a large financial institution to trial, that will have an impact on future behavior of these financial institutions and on the meaningfulness of any settlement. Until that time comes, I am not confident that our enforcement system is doing nearly enough to protect the public from financial crimes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.